大家好，我是庄宜霖。今天是民国111年4月19号，我要包本莎士比亚十四行诗。Son of one from first creatures with desire increased, and thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the rapper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But love contracted to my own bright eyes, filled thy latest flame with self-substantial feel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself fly forth to thy sweet self to cool. Thou lettest not the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring. Within thy own bud bearest thy content, and tender child next west in nibbling. Pity the world, or else glutton be, to eat the world's jewel at grave and deep. Son of two, when 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and deep changes in thy beauty's veil, thy youthful livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, wherein all eating shame and soulless praise, how much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, if love whose dancer, this fair child of mine, shall sound my count and make my old excuse, proving its beauty by succession line, is worth to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold. Son of three, looking like glass, and tell the face thou viewest, now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unblessed mother. For where is she so fair, whose honored womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry, or who is he so fond will build a tomb of his self-love to start posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine age shall see, despite the wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live, remember not to thee, thy single, and thy image dies with thee. Son of four, unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend, and be frank, she lends to those are free. Then beauty's niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largesse given thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live, for having trafficked with thyself alone? Thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what desolate of old it canst thou live? Thy unused beauty must be tuned with thee, which used is executed to be. Son of five, those hours that with gentle work did frame, the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will pale the terrace to the very sand, and let the unfair which fairly doth itself, for never resting time, leads summer on to hideous winter, and confounds in there, set checked with frost, and rusty leaves quite gone, beauty all snowed, and barrenness everywhere. Then were not sun's distillation left, a liquid prisoner painting walls of glass, beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor no remembrance what it was. The flowers distilled, low lay with winter meat, this but their show the substance still lives sweet. Son of six, they left not winter's ragged hand deface, indeed that summer, ere love be distilled, mixed with some vile treasure lost on place, with beauty's treasure, ere it be self-killed, that use is not forbidden usury, each happy slows that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier if it 10 for one, 10 times thyself were happier than thou art. If 10 of thy 10 times reflected thee, then what could death do if thou shouldst depart? Leaving in posterity, be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest and make warmth thine air. Son of seven, lo, in the orient, when a gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye does homage to his new appearance sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty, and having climbed the steep of heavenly hill, with ending strong youth in his middle age, yet mortal looks adore his beauty still, attending on his golden pilgrimage, but when from timeless pitch, with very calm, like feeble age, he reeleth from the day, the eyes for duteous now converted are from his check, and look another way. So thou thyself art going in thy noon, and look down diest unless thou get a sound. Sonnet 8. Music to hear. One hears loud music steadily, sweet with sweet, were not joy delights in joy. One loveth loud, that which thou receivest not gladly, or else receivest with pleasure like annoying. If the true concord of virtue sounds, by unious merit to a faint lying ear, they do but sweetly chide thee, who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst bear. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each in each by mutual ordering, reserving sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing not to sing, whose speechless song, being many, singing one, sings peacefully, thou single, word proof none. Sonnet 9. Is it for fear to wit the widow's sigh, that thou consumest thyself in single life? Ah, if thou ishless should have to die, the world will weally like a maker's wife. The world will be thy widow, and still weep, then thou more fondly hast left behind, when every proud widow will make keep, by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look, what an unshrift in the world doth spend, shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. But beauty's waste hath no word an end, and if done use to the user so disjoys it. No love toward others in that bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. Sonnet 10. For shame deny that thou bearest love to any, who for thyself art so unprovident. Grant, if thou wilt, thou art beloved of many, that thou none lovest is most evident, for thou art so possessed with murder's hate. Against thyself thou seekest not to conspire, seeking that beauteous roof to ruin it, which to repair should be thy chief desire, or change thy thought, that I may change my mind, shall hate be fair lodged when gentle love. Be as thy presence is, gracious and kind, or to thyself at least kind-hearted prove. Make thee another self for love of me, that beauty still may live in line or live. Sonnet 11. As fast as thou shouldst wend, so fast thou goest, in one of life from that which thou departest, and that fresh blood which youngly thou bestowest, thou mayst call thine when thou from youth convertest. Herein lives wisdom, beauty, and increase, without this folly, age, and cold decay. If all were-minded soul, the times should cease, and the sweet cold ear would make the word away. But those whom nature hath not made for store, harsh, speechless, and rude, barrenly perish. Look, whom she best endowed, she gave thee more, which bounteous gift thou shouldst in bounty cherish. She carved thee for herself, and meant thereby thou shouldst print more, not let that copy die. Sonnet 12. When I look count the clock that tells the time, and see the brief day sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past prime, and sable curls also adorned with white, when lofty trees I see barren of leaves, which erst from heat, the canopy the herd and summer spring already ducked in sheaves, born on a beard with white and bristly beard, then of thy beauty black as germic, allow among the wastes of time must go, since wit and beauty still themselves forsake, and there as fast as they see others grow, and nothing against time's scythe can make defense, self-breed to brave him when he takes thee hands. Sonnet 13. All that you were yourself, but love you are no longer yours, then you yourself here live. Against this coming end you should prepare, and your sweet semblance to someone give. So should that beauty which you hold in lease find no determination when you were yourself again after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue, your sweet form should bear. Who let so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honor might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day, and barren rage of death's eternal cold, oh none but unthrift still my love you know. You had a father like your son say so. Sonnet 14. Not from the stars do I my judgment plot, and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues, of dearth, or season's quality, nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each his thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princes if it shall go well, but out to predict that I am ever find, from thine eyes my knowledge I derive, and the constant stars in them I read such art, as truth and beauty shall together strive, if from thyself to store thou wouldst convert, or else of thee this I prognosticate, lying this truth and beauty's doom and fate. Sonnet 15, when I consider everything that grows holds imperfection but a little moment, at least huge stage presents but shows, whereon the stars in secret influence comment, when I perceive that man's pains increase, cheered and checked even by the self-same sky, won't in the useful step at height decrease, and where their breath stepped out of memory. Then the conceit of this inconstant state says you most rich in youth before my sight, taking the wasteful time, debateth with decay, to change your day of youth to solid night, and all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you and gratitude new. Sonnet 16, but wherefore not you a mightier way, make war upon this bloody tyrant time, and fortify yourself in your decay with means more blessed than a barren ride. Now stand you on the top of happy hours and many maiden gardens yet unset, with virtuous wish to bear your living flowers much liker than your painted counterfeit. Such are the lines of life that life repair, which leads time's pencil, or my purple pen, neither in inward worth nor outward fair, can make you leave yourself in eyes of men. To give away yourself keeps yourself still, and you must live drawn by your own sweet skill. Sonnet 17, who will believe my verse in time to come, if it were filled with your most high deserts? Though yet heaven knows it is but a Saturn, which hides your life and shows not half your parts. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh numbers number all your graces, the age to come would say this poet lies, such heavenly touches near touched earthly faces. So should my papers yellowed with their age be scorned like old men of less truth than tongue, and your true rights be termed the poet's rage, and stretched middle of an ended song, the were some child of used alive that time, would should live twice in it and in my rhyme. Sonnet 18, shall I compare thee to a summer's day, more lovely and more temperate, of winds to shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hath all to show the date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his old complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines by chance, or nature's changing course undreamed. Thine eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death wrap thou wanderest in his shape, when in eternal lies the time thou borrowest. So long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Sonnet 19, devouring time, long to love the land's pause, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons love it. If glad and sorry seasons as thou fits, and do whatever thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime, all covered up with thy hours, my love's fair brow, no drama lies there with thy antique pen, hymning thy cross, contented to allow for this pattern to succeed in men. Yet to thy worst all time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young. Sonnet 20, a woman's face with nature's only hand painted, has loved the master mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not painted with drifting change, as is false woman's fashion. And I more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazes. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, much steals man's eyes, and a woman's soul's amazes. And for a woman, work thou first created, till nature, as she loftily feel the doting, and by addition me of the defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose nothing, but things strictly out, for woman's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. Sonnet 21, so is it not with me as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, who having itself for ornament doth use, and every fair with his fair doth rehearse, making a compliment of love compare, with sun and moon, with earth and seas rich gems, with April's firstborn flowers, and all things fair, and heaven's air in these huge round your hands. Oh, let me truly love, but truly right, and let believe me, my love is as fair as any mother's child, though not so bright, as those gold candles fixed in heaven's air. But then say more than I of hearsay will, I will not praise that purpose not to sell. Sonnet 22, my glance shall not persuade me, I mold so long as youth and now are fronted. But when indeed tense furrows I behold, then look at death, my days should expiate. For all the beauty that thus coverly is but the seemly remnant of my heart, which in thy breast doth leave a sign in me. How can them be elder than thou art, or therefore love be of thyself so weary? Sent for myself, but wholly will, there in my heart, which I will keep so cherished. As tender nurse her babe from bearing ill, presume that on thy heart mine is slain. Thou givest me life, not to give back again. Psalm 23, Psalm 23, a non-perfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing repeat with too much rage, with strength abundance against his own heart. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say a perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in my own strength seem to decay. All charged with burden of my own love's might, or let my books begin the eloquence, and dumb presages of my speaking breast, who wait for love and look for recompense, more than the tongue that more hath more expressed, or learned to wit what silent love has writ, who here with eyes belongs to love's fine wit. Sonnet 24, my eye has paid the painter, and has dealt thy witty's form in table of my heart. My body is the friend wherein his health, and perspective it is the painter's art, for through the painter must you see his skill. To find where your true image picture lies, picture my bosom shut, his hand still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what book turns eyes for eyes have done. My eyes have drawn a ship, and life for me. Our windows to my breast were through the sun. Delights to dip, to gaze therein on thee. With eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw at what they see, no not the heart. Sonnet 25, that those who are in favor with their stars of political honor and proud titles boast. Was I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, are looked for joy in that I are the most. Great princes favors their fair lips spread, but thus the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride less buried. For at the front they in the glory die, the painful warrior famous for fight. After 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honor raised quite. And nor the rest forgot for which he toiled, and happy I that love and am beloved, where I may not remove nor be removed. Psalm 26, Lord of my love, to whom in bassage thy merit hath my duty strongly knit. To thee I stand, is written and beseech, to witness duty, not to show my wit. Duty so great, which wit so poor as mine, and makes him bear in wanting words to show it. But let I hope some good conceit of thine, in thy so thought, all naked will bestow it. To whatsoever star that guides my moving, points on me graciously with fair aspect, and puts a peril on my packet loving, to show me worthy of thy sweet respect. Then may I dare to boast how I do love thee, to lend the show my hand where thou mayst prove me. Sonnet 27, weary with toil, I haste me to my bed, the dear repose for limbs with trouble tired. But then begins the journey in my hand, to work my mind when body's works expired. For then my thoughts from far where I abide, in tender zealous pilgrimage thee, and keep my drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness which will blind to see. Save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my senseless view, which like jewel hung in ghastly night, makes black thy beauteous and her old face new. Lo, thus by day my limbs, by night my mind, for thee and for myself no quiet find. Psalm 28, how can I then return happy plight, let them depart the benefit of rest, when this oppression is not ease by night, but day by night, and night by day oppressed, and ditch the enemies to either's realm, doing constant shake hands to torture me, the one by toil, the other to complain. How far I toil, still farther off from thee. I toil a day to please him now at front, and thus him grace with clouds to flood the heaven. So flatter I the broad complexion night, when sparkling stars twile laboriously even. Day doth daily draw my sorrows longer, and night doth nightly make grief's strength seem stronger. Psalm 29. When in disgrace, misfortune, and miseries, I all alone will weep my outcast state, and trouble heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself, and curse my fate, wishing me back to one more reaching hope, wretched like king with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least, yet in these thoughts, myself, almost despising, happy I think only, and then my state, like to the dark, and break of day arising from southern earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembers such worth brings, that man has gone to change my state with kings. Son of 30, went to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I sum not remembrance of things past. I sat a lag of many a thing I sought, and with old woes knew well my dear time's waste. Then can I draw an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in their stateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavy from woe to all, the sad account of fault in month which I knew pale as if I paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all lusts are restored and sorrows end. Psalm 31. Thy bosom is near with all hearts, which I but lacking have supposed dead, and there reigns love, and thou those loving hearts, and thou those friends which I thought buried. How many a holy and obscure tear has dear religious love stolen from my eye as the interest of the dead, which now appear, but things removed like hidden in thee lie, not unbrave where buried love doth live. How is the trappings of my lovers gone, who all the parts of me to thee did give? The jewel of many, none lying alone, your images I loved I view in me, and thou all day hast all the all of me. Psalm 32. If thou survive my well-contented day, when that cruel death my bones with dust shall cover, and shut by fortune once more resurvey these poor lines of thy deceased lover, compare them with the battering of the time, and lowly be outstripped by every pen. Reserve them for my love, not for their rhyme, exceeded by height of happier men, or them vouchsafe me but this loving thought. Have my friend's muse grown with his growing age, a dearer birth than this his love hath brought, to much in rest of better equipage. But since he died, and poets better prove, theirs for their style I'll read, his for his love. Psalm 33. For many a glorious morning have I seen, flattering mountain, tops with serving eye, kissing with golden face the meadow spring, gilding pure streams with heavenly alchemy. None permit the basest clouds to write with ugly wreck on his celestial face, and from the forlorn world his visage hide, stealing unseen to waste with this disgrace, even though my sun when early morn did shine, with all triumphant splendor on my brow, but thought that he was but one all mine. The region cloud hath masked him from me now, and him my love no whit disdaineth. Thoughts of the world misstand when heaven's sun staineth. Psalm 34. Why didst thou permit such a beauteous day, and make me travel forth without my cloak? To let base clouds overtake me in my way, hiding thy bravery in their utter smoke. Is not enough as through the cloud thou break, but dry the rain on my stone-beaten face, for no man will of such a self can speak. That heals the wound and cures not the disgrace, nor can I shame give physic to my grief. Though thou repent, yet I have still a loss, their offended sorrow lends but weak relief. To him that bears the strong offence's cross, but those tears are pearl which thy love sheds, and they are rich and ransom all your deeds. Psalm 35. No more be grieved at that which thou hast done, roses have thorns and silver gone to smart. Clouds and eclipses stand both moon and sun, and no same thinker lives in sweetest spot. All men make faults, and even I in this, authorizing thy trespass with compare, myself corrupting self in thy midst, excusing thy sins, more than thy sins are, for thy sensual fault I bring sense. Thy Adam's party is like advocate, and against myself a lawful plea commence. Such civil war is in my love and hate, that I unnecessary needs must be, to like sweet thief which sourly robs from me. Psalm 36. Let me confess that we too must be twain, although our undivided loves are one. So shall those floods that do with me remain, without thy help by me be borne along. In our true loves there is but one respect. Lo, in our lives a separable aspect, which though it alternate love's sole effect, yet does it still distinct ours from love's delight. I may not evermore acknowledge thee, lest my bewildered guilt should duly shame. Nor allow with public kindness honor me, unless thou declare honor from thy name. But do not so, and love thee in such sort, as loving mine is thy good report. Psalm 37. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child to deeds of youth, so I made lend thy fortune's dearest fight, and call my comfort of thy words and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth, or wit, or any of these, all or more, entitled in my parts to crowning seat, and make my love engrafted to restore, so then I am not lame, poor nor despised, whilst that this shadow does such substance give, and I in thy abundance am sufficed, and by a part of all thy glory live. Look, what is best, that best I wish in these. This wish I have, then 10 times happy me. Psalm 38. How can my muse not subject invent, where thou dost breathe that poest into my verse, thy own sweet argument, too excellent for every vulgar paper to rehearse? Or give thyself the thanks, if opting me, worthy Brussels, stand against thy sight. For whoso dumb that cannot write to thee, when thou thyself dost give invention light, be thou the 10th muse 10 times more in worth than those of thine which I must invocate, and he that calls on thee let him bring forth eternal numbers to outlive long date. If my sad muse to please these curious days, the pain be mine, but thine shall be the praise. Psalm 39. Or how I worth with manners may I sing, when thou art all the part of me. What can my own praise to my own self bring, and what is mine own when I proceed? Even for this let us divided live, and our dear love lose name of single one, that by this separation I may give that due to thee which thou deservest alone. O absence, what torment wouldst thou prove, were it not that our leisure gives sweet leave to entertain the time with thoughts of love, which time and thought so sweetly doth deceive, and that thou teachest how to make one twain, by praising him here who does hence remain. Psalm 40. Take all my loves, my love, yet declare more. What hast thou learned more than thou hast before? Though love, my love, that thou mayst true love call, all mine was thine before, thou hast is small. Then if for my love thou my love receivest, I cannot blame thee for my love thou usest, but yet be damned if thou thyself deceivest, and wilt foretaste of what thyself refusest. I do forgive thy robbery, gentle thief, or love lost dearly, or my poverty, and yet love knows is a greater grief. To bear love's wrong than hence known injury. A serious grace in whom all your will shows, kill me with spite, yet we must not be false. Psalm 41. Those petty wrongs that liberty commits, when I am sometime absent from thy heart, thy beauty and thy ears for will befits, for still temptation follows where thou art. Gentle thou art, and therefore to be won, beauteous thou art, therefore to be assailed. And when a woman woos what a woman's son will sorely leave her till she hath prevailed, I me, but yet thou mightest my seed forbear, and track thy beauty and thy strange youth. Who lead thee in their route, even there, where thou art forced to break a twofold truth, hers by thy beauty, tempting her to thee, mine by thy beauty, being false to me. Psalm 42. That thou hast her, it is not all my grief, and yet it may be said, I loved her dearly. As she hath thee, is of my willing chief, a lasting love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders, lost I will excuse thee, thou dost love her, because thou knowest I love her, and for my sake, even so does she abuse me, suffering my friend for my sake to approve her. If I lose thee, my loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend hath found at loss. Both find each other, and I lose both twain, and both for my sake. Lay on me this cross, but here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone. Chapter 43. When most I wink, cling to my eyes, best see. For all the day they view things unrespected. But when I sleep in dreams, they look only and darkly bright are bright in dark directed. They know which shadows that make bright. How like shadows form from happy show to the clear day with their much clearer light. When to unseen eyes like shades shine so, how would I say my eyes be blessed made? By looking only in the living day, when in the night I feel in perfect shape. Through heavy sleep, on settless eyes that stay, all days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do surely me. Chapter 44. If the raw substance of my flesh were thought, endurance distance should not stop my way. For then, despite the space, I would be brought from limits far remote, where love does not stay. No matter then, although my foot did stand upon the farthest earth removed from thee. For nimble thought can jump or sea and land, as soon as think the place where he would be. But our thought tells me that I am not thought, to live large lengths of miles, but not are gone. But less so much of earth and water wrought, I must attend time's leisure with my moan, receiving not by elements so slow, but heavy tears, barriers of either's woe. Chapter 45. Hospital, these other two, slight air and purging fire, are both with thee wherever I abide. The first my thought, the other my desire, this present absent, received motion slide. For when these quicker elements are gone, in tender embassy of love to thee, my life being metaphor with two alone, still stung to death, oppressed with melancholy. Until life's compensation be recurred, by those stiff messengers returned from thee, who even but now come back again assured of thy fair health, recounting it to me. This told I joy, but then no longer glad, I stand to them back again, and straight for stand. Chapter 46. My eye and heart are at mortal war, how to divide the conquest of thy sight. My eye, my heart, thy picture sight would bar, my heart, my eye, the freedom of that right. My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes, but the defendant doth that plead nigh. And sensing him that fair adherence lies, to cite this title is impaneled, a quest of thoughts all tenants to the heart, and by their verdict is determined a clear eye's moiety and the dear heart's part. As lost my eyes' jewel is the outward part, and my heart's right like inward love of heart. Chapter 47. Betwixt my eye and heart a league is took, and each that could turns down to the other. When that my eye is famished for a look, or heart in love with eyes in self doth smother, with my love's picture then my eye doth feast, and to the painted banquet beats my heart. Another time my eye is my heart's guest, and in his thoughts of love doth stir apart. So it by that picture, O my love, thyself away art present still with me. For long not farther than my thoughts canst move, and I am still with them, and they with thee. Or if they sleep, thy picture in my sight awakes my heart, to hearts and eyes delight. Chapter 48. How careful was I when I took my way, each travel on the true spots to thrust. Left to my use, it might unused stay, from hands of falsehood, in sure words of trust. Thou to whom my truest travels are, most worthy of comfort, now my greatest grief. Thou best the dearest and my only care, left the prey of every vulgar thief. Thee have I not locked up in any chest, save where thou art not, though I feel thou art, within the gentle closure of my breast, from whence the pleasure thou mayst come and part. And even as thou wilt be stolen, I fear, for truth proves thievish for a prize so dear. Chapter 49. Against that time, if ever that time come, when I shall see thee from on my defects, when as thy love has cast his utmost sum, God that owed it by advanced respects, against that time do I ensconce me here. Chapter 49. Against that time, if ever that time come, when I shall see thee from on my defects, when as thy love has cast his utmost sum, God that owed it by advanced respects, against that time when thou shalt strangely pass, and scarcely greet me with a sunlight eye, when love converted from the thing it was, shall reason find of scattered gravity against that time, though it ensconce me here, within the knowledge of my own desert, and this my hand against myself a prayer, to God the lawful reasons on my part, to live for me thou hast the strength of loss, since one to love I can allege no cause. Sonnet 50. How heavy do I journey on the way, when what I seek my weary troubles end, that teach that isn't that repose to say, thus far the miles are measured from my friend, the beast that bears me tired with my woe, plots darly on to bear that weight in me, as if by some instinct the rich did know, is rather loved than speed being made from thee. The bloody spur cannot provoke to moan, that sometimes anger thrust into his hide, which heavily he answers with a groan, more shock to me, whispering his side. For that same groan does but least in my mind, my grief flies onward and my joy behind. Sonnet 51. Thus can my love excuse the slow offense of my law-bearer when from thee I speed. From where thou art, why should I hasteniness? Till I return of posting is no need. Or what excuse will my poor beast then find, when swift extremity can seem but slow? Then shall I spur, though mounted on the wind, in winged speed, no motion shall I know. Then can no horse, if my desire can pace, therefore desire of perfect love being made, shall nay know thou flesh in his fiery rest, but love for love, loss shall excuse my jade, since from the going he went wherefore slow, towards thee I'll run, and giving leave to go. 52. So amass the rich whose blessed key can bring him to his with up-loved treasure, the which he will not every hour survey, for blunting the fine point of southern pleasure. Therefore a feast so solemn and so rare, since sudden coming in the long year's set, like stones of worth as thinly placed down, or captain jewels in a castanet, so is that time that keeps you as my chest, or is the wardrobe which the robe does hide, to make some special instant special blessed by new unfolding his imprisoned pride. Blessed are you, whose worthiness gives scope, being had the triumph, being left to hope. Psalm 53. What is your substance, whereof are you made, that millions of strange shadows on you tend, since every one hath every one shed, and you but one can every shadow lend. Describe the dullness and the counterfeit is poorly imitated after you, on Helen's cheek or art of beauty set, and you in vision tires are painted new. Speak of the spring and poison of the year, the one that shadow of your beauty show, the other of your bounty doth appear, and you in every blessed shape we know. In all external grace you have some part, but jewel none you for constant heart. 54. Oh, how much more doth beauty sing by that sweet ornament which truth doth give. The rose looks fair, but fairer we dim, for that sweet odor which doth in it live. The kinker blooms have thought or steeper dye as the perfumed tincture of the roses, hang on such thorns and play as wantonly when some spreads their nest but discloses. But for their virtue only is their show, they live unwooed and unrespected fade, die to themselves, sweet roses do not sow. Of their sweet death are sweetest always made, and so of you, beauteous and lovely youth. When that shall fade, my verse distills your truth. Psalm 55. That marble nor the gilded monument of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, but you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone besmeared with sluggish time, when wistful world shall statues overturn, and warriors root out the work of misery. The Mars he sought, the worst big fire shall burn, the living record of your memory. Against death and all the devious enmity, shall you henceforth, your praise shall still find room, even in the eyes of all posterity, and where this world doth the ending doom, so till the judgment like yourself arise, you live in this and dwell in lovers' eyes. Psalm 56. Sweet love, renew thy force, be in that stand, thy age should bluntly the appetite, which but today by feeling is laid, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So love be thou, although today thou feel thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness. Tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with perpetual dullness. At least that interim, the clear ocean be, which parts the shore, where two conjectured new, come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love more blessed may be the view, else call it winter, which being for love care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare. Psalm 57. Being your slave, what should I do but tend upon the hours and times of your desire? I have no precious time at all to spend, no services to do till you require, nor dare I try to work without an hour. Without an hour, whilst I am suffering, what shall talk for you? To think the bitterness of absence sour, when you have bid your servant once a Jew, nor dare question with my just thought, where you may be or your affairs suppose, but like sad slave, stay and think of naught, save where you are, how happy you may close. So true a fool is love, that in your will, though you do anything, he thinks no ill. Psalm 58. That God forbid that made me first your slave, I actually thought control your times of pleasure, or at your hand leave account of hours to crave, being your vassal, bound to stay your leisure. Oh, let me suffer, being at your bank, the imprisoned absence of your liberty, and precious time to suffer by this check, without accusing you of injury. Be where you list, your charter is so strong that you yourself may privilege your time to what you will. To you it does belong, yourself to pardon of self-doing crime. I am to wait, though waiting so be held, not blame your pleasure, be it ill or will. Psalm 59. If there be nothing new but that which is, has been before, how our brains beguiled, which laboring for invention there means the second burden of a former child. All that record could with a backward look, even of 500 courses of the sun, show me your image in some antique book, since mine at first in character was done, and I must see what the old world could say to this composed wonder of your friend, whether we are mended or with better lay, or whether revolution be the same, or sure I am no wit of former days, the subject's words have given admiring praise. Psalm 60. Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before, in secret toil or forwards to contend. Nativity wise in the man of light, grows to maturity where with being crowned, quickly eclipses us against his glory fact, and time that gave that now his gift confound. Time does transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the perilous in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his thighs to mourn, and yet times in hope my verse just stand, praising thy worth, despite his cruel hand. Psalm 61. Is it thy will thy image should keep open my heavy eyelids to the very night? Dost thou desire my slumbers should be broken, where shadows that wait to mock my sight? Is it thy spirit and thou sendest from thee, so far from home into my deeds to pry, to find out shames and idle hours in me, the scope and tenor of thy jealousy? Oh no, thy love, though much, is not so great. It is my love that keeps my eye awake, my own true love that does my rest defeat. Play watchman ever for thy sake, for thee watch I dost wake elsewhere, from me far off with others all too near. Psalm 62. Sing of self-love possess all my eye, and all my soul, and all my every part, and for this sin there is no remedy. It is so grounded inward in my heart, methinks no face so gracious is as mine, no ship so true, no truth of such account, and for myself my own worth to divine, as I am all other in all worth among. But when my glance shall be myself indeed, bittered and trapped with tender duty, my own self-love quite contrary I read, self so self-loving very iniquity, display myself that for myself I praise, painting my age with beauty of thy days. Psalm 63. Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand crushed in the old womb, when hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful moan has travelled down to age's sleepy neck, and all those beauties whereof now his king are vanishing or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time do I not fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, and he shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty of my lover's life, His beauty shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he and them still breathe. Sonnet 64. When I have seen by time's bare hand defaced the rich proud cost of outworn married age, and sometimes lofty towers I see down raised, and rise eternal slave to mortal rage. When I have seen the hungry ocean gain, and bounty join the kingdom of the shore, and the firm soil wing of the watery name, increasing store is lost and lost restore. When I have seen such interchange of state, or state itself confounded to decay, dream has taught me thus to ruin it. That time will come and take my love away. This thought is as a death which cannot choose, but wait to have lack which it fears to lose. Sonnet 65. Since breast no dawn, nor earth no boundless sea, but death, mortality, or space their power, how is this rage? Shall beauty hold the plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Or how shall summer's honey breath hold out against a wakeful siege of battering days, when looks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong that time decays, or fearful meditation where a lack? Shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid? Or what strong hand can hold his swift foot back, or we spoil of beauty can forbid? Or none unless this miracle have might, let him back in my love may still shine bright. Sonnet 66. Tired with all this for restful death, I cry, as to behold desert a vagabond, and needing nothing, dreamed in charity, and purest faith unhappy forsworn, and gilded honor shamefully misplaced, and maiden virtue rudely trumpeted, and right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and strength by limping sway disabled, and art made tongue-tied by authorizing authority, and polyglot like controlling skill, and simple truth miscalled simplicity, and captive good tending captain ill. Tired with all this, from this would I be gone, self left to die, and leave my love alone. Sonnet 67. Wherefore with infection should he live, and with his presence gracing piety, as seen by him advantage should achieve, and bless itself with his society. Why should false pending imitate his cheek, and steal the sin of his living hue? Why should poor beauty indirectly seek recessive shadow, since his wrath is true? Why should he leave no nature bring her this, breathed of blood, blush through lively veins? For she hath no exchequer now but his, and proud of many gifts upon his skins. Or him she stores to show what wealth she had, in days long since, before this last so bad. Sonnet 67. Wherefore with Sonnet 68. Lost its cheek, the net of death outworn, when beauty lived, and neither's flowers to now. Before the best sense the fair bone, or the sting habit on living brow. Before the golden tresses of the dead, the red sepulchres were shown away, to live a second life on beauty, to live a second life on second head. A beauty that flees when another gay. In him those holy antique hours are seen, where all ornament is self and true, making no summer of another spring, robing no old to dress his beauty new, and in him a scholar mat that nature stole, to show forth art of beauty was of yours. Sonnet 69 was partly that the world's eye that few want nothing that the thought of hearts can mend. All tongues, the voice of souls, if they like you, uttering mere truth, even so, as false command. That outward loss with outward praise is crowned, but those and tongues that give thee soul line on, in other accents, do this praise confound. Thy sin father, lady eye, has shown, then look into the beauty of thy mind, and let in gaze their measure by thy deeds, then chose their thoughts, although their eyes were kind. To thy fair flower and the rank smile of wits, but by thy odor matches that thy show, the self is this, that thou dost come and grow. Sonnet 70. That thou art damned shall not be thy defect, for slanders mark whatever yet the fair. The ornament of beauty is suspect, a corn that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So thou be good, slander doth but prove thou worth the greater being wood of time. For anger vice the sweetest buds doth love, and thou presents the pure, honest and prime. Thou hast by the ambush of young days, either not excelled or victor being charged, least thy praise cannot be so thy praise. The tide of envy evermore enlarged, the sun aspect of ill masked not thy show. The law alone kingdoms of hearts shall store. Sonnet 71 no longer mourn for me when dead, then you shall hear the 30 solemn bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this foul world with foulest wounds to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that read it, I love you so, and I your sweet thoughts to be forgot. If thinking on me, then should make you woe. Or if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps come under them with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love, even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Sonnet 72. All lest the world should task you to recite what merely they mean that you should love. After my death, dear love, forgive me quite, for you in me can nothing worthy prove, unless you would devise some virtuous lie to do more for me than my own desert, and hand more praise upon this eye than the truth would really impart. Or lest your true love may seem false indeed, that you for love speak well of me untrue, and then be buried where my body is, and live no more to shame, nor me nor you, for I am shamed by that which I bring forth, and so should you to love things nothing worth. Sonnet 73. Let hand of year thou mayst me behold, and yellow leaves, O none of you to hand, upon those boughs which shut against the cold, bear rain choirs when let the sweet breath send in me thou seest the palette of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night does take away the second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that only ashes of his views that fly, as the despot where wrong it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by, this thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which love must leave alone. Sonnet 74. But be contented when that fair arrest without all bell shall carry me away. My life has in this line some interest, which for memorial still with thee shall stay. When thou reviewest this, thou dost review, the very part was consecrated to thee. The earth can have but earth which is his due. My spirit is thine, but part of me. So then thou hast but lost the dregs of life, the prey of worms, my body being dead. The cowardice. Sonnet 74. But be contented when that fell arrest without all bill shall carry me away. My life has in this line some interest, which for memorial still with thee shall stay. When thou reviewest this, thou dost review. The very part was consecrated to thee. The earth can have but earth which is his due. My spirit is like the part of me, so then thou hast but lost the dregs of life, the prey of worms, my body being dead, the coward conquest of a righteous life. To basically to be remembered, the worth of that is that which it contains, and that is least, and least with thee remains. Sonnet 75. So I look my thought as foot to life, or seasoned showers are to the ground, and for the peace of you I hold such strife as fixed the miser, and his wealth is found. Now present in joy, and none doubting the belching age was still his treasure. Now counting best to be with you alone, and better that the world may see my pleasure, sometime all full with feasting on your side, and by clean stuff for look, possessing or pursuing no delight, instead what is had or must from you be took. Last do I pine and surfeit day by day, or gluttoning on all away. Sonnet 76. Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why with the time do I neglect the sight, the new found methods, and the compounds strange? By right I still all one ever stand, and keep invention in noted weed, that every word doth almost go my name, showing their birth and where let it proceed. Oh no, sweet love, I always read of you, and you and love are still my argument, so all my best is tracing old words new, spending again what is already spent, for as the song is daily new and old, so is my love still telling what is told. Sonnet 77. Thy glass will show thee how thy beauty spare, thy dial, how thy precious minutes waste, The vacant leaves that might seem pretty well bare, and of this book is learning master taste. The wrinkles which like glass will truly show of mouth grapes will give thee memory. Now by thy dials shady stills, mayst know, time's thievish progress to eternity. Look what thy memory cannot contain. Commit to these vast things at large shalt find. Those treasure nursed be delivered from thy brain to take a new acquaintance of thy mind. These offices, so oft the stalwart look, shall profitably and much enrich thy book. Sonnet 78. So oft have I invoked thee for my muse, and found such fair assistance in my verse, as every alien pen has got my use, and under thee their poesy disperse. Thy eyes left down on high to sing, and heavy ignorance aloft to fly, have added feathers to learn and swing, and given grace a double majesty, that be most part of that which I compel, whose influence is thine and born earthly. In others' works thou dost commend the style, and art with graces rest be, but thou art all my art, and dost advance as high as learning my rude ignorance. Sonnet 79. Was thy alone did call upon thy aid, my verse alone had all thy gentle grace. But now my gracious numbers are decayed, and my sick muse doth give another pace. My grant sweet love, thy lovely argument, deserves the travail of a worthier pen. Yet wonderfully thy poet doth invent. He looks thee off and praises thee again. He lends thee virtue, and he stole that word. From thy behavior beauty doth he give, and found it in thy cheek he can afford. No praise to thee, but what in thee doth leave. And think not for that which he that says, since what he owes thee thou thyself dost pay. Sonnet 80. All I think when I of you direct, knowing by the Spirit doth use your name, and in the press whereof spends all his might, to make me tongue-tied speaking of your fame, but think your worth wide as the ocean is, the humble as the potters' shell doth bear. My saucy bark, inferior far to his, on your broad name doth willfully appear. Your shadow's help will hold me up to float. Was he upon your thunderous deep doth wreck, all been wrecked, and a worthless boat? He of tall building and doth goodly pride. Then if he thrive, and I be cast away, the worst was least, my love was my decay. Sonnet 81. A wretch shall leave your epitaph to make, or you survive when I am earth and rotten. From hence your memory this cannot take, although in me each part will be forgotten. Your name from hence immortal life shall have, though I once gone to all the world must die. Must die, the earth giveth me but a common grave. When you into the man's eyes shall lie, your monument shall be my gentle verse, which eyes not yet created shall all read, and tongues to be your wing shall rehearse. When all the readers of this world are dead, you still shall live. Such virtue has my pen, where breath must breathe, even in the mouth of man. Sonnet 82. I grant thou wilt not merit to my muse, and therefore mayst without a tender or look. The dedicated words which writers use of their fair subject blazing every book. Thou art as very knowledge as in hue, finding thy worth a limit past my praise, and therefore art enforced to seek anew some precious stamp of the time-battering days, and do so love yet when they have devised what strength touches rhetoric lend. Thou truly felt, but truly sympathized in true plain words by thy true telling friend, and their gross painting might be better used where cheeks need blood, indeed it is abused. Sonnet 83. Sonnet 83. I never saw that you painting need, and therefore to your fair non-painting said, I found all thought I found you did exceed. The barren tender of a poet stepped, and therefore have I slept in your report, that you yourself may extend well my show. A foreign modern quill doth come to short. Speaking of worth, what worth in you doth grow. This silence for my sin you did impute, which shall be most my glory being done, for I impair not beauty being mute. When others would give life and bring a tune, there lives more life in one of your fair rhymes than both your poets can in praise devise. Sonnet 84. Who is it that says most, which can say more than this rich praise that you alone are you, in whose confine immersed is the store, which should example where your equal group, in penury within that pen dwell, left to his subject, lends not some small glory, but he that writes of you, if he can tell, That you are you, so dignifies his story, that him but copy what in you is writ, that making words what nature made so clear, and such a counterpart shall fame his wit, making his style admired everywhere. You to your greatest blessings and curse being found on praise, which makes your praises worse. Psalm 85, my tongue-tied music manners holds her still, the comments of your praise richly compiled, reserve their character with golden quill, and precious phrase that all the muses found. I think good thoughts, whilst others write good words, and like a little kirk still cry amen to every hymn that able spirit thoughts, in polished form of well-refined pen. Hearing you praised, I say, 'tis so, 'tis true, and to the most of praise add something more, but that is my thought, whose love to you, the worth come highmost holds his rank before, and others for the breath of what respect, me for my dumb thought speaking in effect. Psalm 86, was it the proud false tale of his great birth, bound for the prize of all the gracious good, that did my rapt thoughts in my brain in hers, making their tune known wherein they grew? Was it his spirits by spirit taught to write above a mortal pitch that struck me dead? No, neither he nor his compeers by night, giving him aid, my verse astonished. He nor that affable familiar ghost, which lately goes him with intelligence, as victors of my silence cannot boast. I was not sick of any fear from thence, but when your countenance filled up his line, then that I matter letting deep but mine. Psalm 87, farewell, thou art too dear for my possessing, and making us thou knowest thy estimate. The charter of thy worth gives thee releasing, my bonds in thee are all determined. For how do I hold thee by thy granting, and full at riches where is my deserving? The cost of this fair gifting me is wanting, and so my patent back again is swerving. Myself thou givest thine own worth lend not knowing, or me to whom thou givest it else mistaking, so thy great gift upon his prison growing comes home again a better judgment making. Thus have I had thee as a dream that flatter, in sleep a king but waking no such matter. Psalm 88, when thou shalt be disposed to set me light, and place my merit in the eye of scorn, upon thy side against myself I'll fight, and properly virtuous though thou art forsworn, with my own weakness being best acquainted, upon thy part I can set down the story of false concealed wherein I am tempted, that thou in losing me shalt win much glory, and that by this will be again too, for bending all my loving thoughts on thee, the injuries that to myself I do, doing the vantage, double vantage me, such is my love to thee, I so belong, that for thy right myself will bear all wrong. Psalm 89, say that thou dost forsake me for some fault, and thou wilt comment upon that offense. Speak of my lameness, and thy strength will hold against her resistance, making no defense. But canst not love disgrace me half so ill, to set a form upon desired change, as I myself disgrace, knowing my will, I will acquaintance strangle and look strange. Be absent from thy works, and in my tongue thy sweet beloved name no more shall dwell. Thy style, my true friend, should do it wrong, and happy overwrought acquaintance still. For thee, against myself, I'll vow debate, for I must ne'er love him whom thou dost hate. Psalm 90, may hate me when thou wilt, if ever now will the world disband my deeds to cross. Join with the spite of fortune, make me bow, and do not draw pain for an after loss. Do not when my heart has got with sorrow. Come in the real world of conquered woe, give not the windy night a rainy morrow, to linger out a purposed overthrow. If thou wilt leave me, do not leave me last. When other petty griefs have done respite, but in the answer come, so shall I taste. At first the very worst the fortune's might, and other strengths of war, which now seem woe compared with loss of thee, will not seem so. Psalm 91, some glory in their birth, some in their skill, some in their will, some in their body's faults, some in their garments, the new-fangled deal, some in their hawks and hounds, some in their horse, and every humor has his adjunct pleasure, wherein it finds a joy above the rest. But these particulars are not my measure, all these I better in my general best. Thy love is better than thy birth to me, richer than wealth, prouder than garments cost, of more delight can hawks or horses be, and heavenly of all men's pride I boast. Wretchedly this alone that thou mayst take, all this away and me most wretched make. Son of 92, but do thy worst to steal thyself away, for turn of life thou art too short mine, and life no longer than thy love will stay, for it depends upon that love of life. And need I not to fear the worst of wrongs, when the least of them my love hath done. I see a better state to me belongs, than that which on thy humour doth depend. Thou canst not vex me with inconstant mind, since that my life on thy report doth lie. Oh, what happy title do I find, happy to have thy love, happy to die. But what so blessed fear that fears no blood, thou mayst be false, and yet I know it not. Son of 93, so shall I live, supposing thou art true, like a deceived husband, so thus face. May still seem love to me, thou art new, thy looks with me, darting out of place. For there can live the hatred in my eye, therefore in that I cannot know thy change. In many looks the false heart's history, its witty moods and frowns and wrinkles change. But heaven in thy creation did decree that in thy face sweet love should ever dwell. Whatever thy thoughts or thy heart's working speed, thy looks should nothing lend but sweetness tell. How that exact, how that this left. Psalm 93, so shall I live, supposing thou art true. Like a deceived husband, so thus face. May still seem love to me, thou art new, thy looks with me, the heart in other place. For there can live no hatred in thy eye, therefore in that I cannot know thy change. In many looks the false heart's history, its written moods and frowns and wrinkles change, but heaven in thy creation did decree, that in thy face sweet love should ever dwell. Whatever thy thoughts or thy heart's working speed, thy looks should nothing less but sweetness tell. How that apple does thy beauty grow, if thy sweet spiritual answer not thy show. Not 94, let have power to hurt and will do none that do not do the thing they most to show. For moving others are themselves the stone, unmoved cold and to temptation slow. They readily do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is the summer's wheat, law to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with facing fiction meet, the basest wheat outbreaks his dignity, for sweetest things turn sorrows by their deeds. Lilies that faster smell far worse than weeds. Psalm 95, let have power to hurt and Psalm 95, how sweet and lovely dost thou make the shame, which like a canker in a fragrant rose, dost spot the beauty of thy body name. Oh, in what sweets dost thou thy singing close, the tongue that tells the story of thy days, making the serious comments on thy sport, cannot dispraise but in a kind of praise, naming thy name that sustain your report. Oh, what mention have those vices got, which for their habitation jocosely where beauty's veil doth cover every blot, and though things turn to fair that eyes can see, it hid their heart of this large privilege. The hardest strength your youth doth lose his age. Psalm 96, some say that for his youth, some wantonness, some say that great his youth and gentle sport. But grace and faults are loved of more and less. Thou makest false graces that to thee resort, as on the finger of a strong queen. The basest jewel will be well esteemed, so are those errors that in thee are seen, to truth translated and for truth esteemed. How many lambs might the stem wolf betray, if like a lamb he could his stoops translate? How many gazers mightest thou lead away, if thou wouldst choose the strength of all thy step? But do not so, and lovely in such sort, as thou in mine is thy good report. Psalm 97, how like winter hath my absence been from thee, the pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what told December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn big with rich increase, when the wanton burden of the prime, like withered wounds, after their lost disease. Yet this abundant issue seems to me but hope of orphans and unbudded fruit. For summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and lull away the very birds are mute. or effacing this with so dull a cheer, and leaves good pale dreading the winter's near. Sonnet 98. From you have I been absent in the spring, when proud-eyed April, dressed in all his dream, has put the spirit of youth in everything, but heavy Saturn lodged and lived with him. Yet no lace of birds, nor the sweet smile of different flowers in odor and in hue, could make me any summer story tell, or from their proud laptop them where they grew, nor little wonder at the least white, nor praise the deep vermilion in the rose. They were but sweet, but figures of delight, drawn after you, your pattern of all lows, yet seemed to winter still and you away, as with your shadow I with this did play. Sonnet 99. The forward velvet, lost did I chide, sweet thief, when the slow still, thy sweet that smells, if not for my love's birth, the purple pride, which on thy soft cheek for complexion dwells, in my love's dance thou hast to grossly died. The lily I condemned for thy hand, and buds of marjoram had stolen thy hair. The roses fearfully on thorns did stand, when blushing shamed another white despair. A third, no red, no white, had stolen the false, and to his robbery had next thy birth. But for his left, in pride of all his growth, a vengeful canker eating up to death. For flowers I noted, yet none could see, but sweet all color it had stolen from thee. Sonnet 100. Oracular muse that thou forgettest so long, to speak of that which gives thee all thy might. Spend the slow thy fury on some ruthless song, buckling thy power to lend best subjects light. Return forgetful muse, and straight redeem, in gentle numbers time so idly spent. Sing to the ear that starts thy lazy steam, and gives thy pen but skill a document. Rise, rest you muse, my love's sweet face away, if time have any wrinkle here and there, if any bid satire to decay, and make time spoils despised everywhere. Give my love fame faster than time wastes life, so love professed his nice and crooked knife. Sonnet 101. O truant muse, what shall be thy amends, for thy neglect of truth in beauty died? What truth and beauty on my love depends, so dost thou too, and therein dignified. Make answer, muse, what love not happily say, truth needs no color with his color fixed, beauty no pencil, beauty's truth to lay, but best is best, if never intermixed. Because he needs no praise, would love be dumb, excuse not silence of what lies in thee, to make him much outlive a gilded tomb, and to the crest of ages yet to be, then to the office news I teach thee how, to make him seem long hence as he shows now. Sonnet 102. My love is strengthened, no more weakening seeming, and love not less, the less the show appear. That love is merchandise whose riches steaming, the owner's tongue does publish everywhere. Our love was new and named but in the spring, when I was wont to greet it with my lays, as philomelian summer's front doth sing, and starts her pipe in growth of riper days. But that the summer is less pleasant now than when her mournful hymns that did hush the night. But like wild music burdens every bough, and sweets grown common lose their dear delight. Therefore, like her, I sometimes hold my tongue, because I would not dull you with my song. Sonnet 103. Alack, what property my muse brings forth, that having such a scope to show her pride, the argument all there is of more worth, than when it has my added praise beside. Open me not if I no more can write. Looking your glass, and there appears a face that overgoes my blunt invention quite, dulling my lines and doing me disgrace, were it not sinful and striving to mend, to mar the subject that before was well, for to no other paths my verses tend, than of your graces and your gifts to tell, and much more than in my verse can seek. Your own glass shows you when you look in it. Sonnet 104. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still through winter's cold, have from the first shook through summer's pride, through beauteous springs to yellow autumn turned, in process of the seasons have I seen, through April perfumes in 3 hot Junes burned, Since first I saw you fresh, which yet are green, yet does beauty like a dial hand. Still from this figure and no pair is perceived, so yours with you, which me think still does stand, has motion in my eye, may be deceived, for fear of which here lives the age unbred, where you were born was beauty's summer dead. And 105, let not my love be called idolatry, nor my beloved as an idol show, since all alike my sons and praises be, to one of one still such, and ever so. Kind is my love today, tomorrow kind, still constant in wondrous excellence. Therefore my verse to constancy confined, one thing expressing their thought difference. Fair, kind, and true is all my argument, fair, kind, and true, varying to other words, and in this change is my invention spent. Three things in one, which wondrous scope affords. Fair, kind, and true have often lived alone, which three till now never kept seat in one. Chapter 106. When in the chronicle of wasted time I see descriptions of the fairest white, and beauty making beautiful old rhyme in praise of ladies dead, lovely nights, laying in the blazon of sweet beauty spent, of hand, of foot, of lip, of eye, of brow, I see their antique pen would have expressed even such a beauty as you master now, so all their praises are but prophecies of this our time, or you prefiguring, and for the looked, but with divining eyes, they had not skill enough your words to sing, for we which now behold these present days, had eyes to wonder, but the tongues to praise. Psalm 107, not my own fears, nor the prophetic soul of the wide world dreaming on things to come, can yet the least of my true love control, supposed to forfeit to a confined doom. The mortal moon has her gifts endured, and the sky over smoke the wrong presage. Uncertainties now from themselves assured, and peace proclaims all lives of endless age. Now with the drops of this most balmy time, my love looks fresh, and death to me subscribes. In spite of him, I'll live in this poor rhyme, where he in thoughts or dolent speechless strives, and now in these shall find the monument, when tyrants crest in tunes of breath are spent. Chapter 108. What's in the brain that think me character, which has not figured to leave my true spirit? What's new to speak, what new to register, that may express my love or that dear merit? Nothing, sweet boy, but yet like prayers divine, I must each day say all the very same, counting the old thing old, allow my eye lie, even as when first I held thy fair name, so let eternal love in love's fresh case. Was not the dust and injury of age, nor gives to the necessary wrinkles place, but makes antiquity for I his page, finding the first conceit of love their bread, where time and outward form would show it dead. Psalm 109, or never said that I was false of heart, no absence seemed my flame to qualify. As easy might I from myself depart, as from my soul which in thy breast does lie. And this my home of love, if I have ranged. Like in the troubles I return again, just to the time, not with the time exchanged. So let myself bring water for my stem. Never believe, flowing my nature rain, all frailties that beseech all kinds of blood, that it could so preposterously withstand. To live for nothing, or thy sum of good, for nothing this wide universe I call, save from my rose in it, long at my all. Psalm 110, alas, 'tis true, I have gone here and there, and made myself mortally to the view. Got my own thought cheap, what is most dear, with all the fences of affections new. Most true it is that I have looked on truth, askance and strangely, but by all above this bench quenched in a cool well bind, which from love's fire took heat perpetual, robbing a bath and health for remedy, for man deceased, but I my mistress throne. The Sonnet for shame deny that thou bearest love to any, who for thyself art so unprovident. Psalm 110, alas, 'tis true, I have gone here and there, and made myself mortally to the view. What my own thought cheap, what is most dear, and all the fences of affections new. Most true it is that I have looked on truth, askance and strangely, but by all above, these branches gave my heart another youth, and was as yet proved my best of love. Now all is done, half what shall have no end. My appetite I nevermore will grant on your proof to trying an older friend, a God in love to whom I am confined, and give me welcome next my heavenly best, even to thy pure and most loving breast. Psalm 111. All for my sake to you, whose fortune child, the guilty goddess of my harmful deeds, that did not better from my left or right the public means which public man spreads. Thence conceit my name receives a brand, and almost stands my nature is subdued to what it works it like a dyer's hand. Pity me then, and wish I were renewed. What like a impatient I will drink potions of Esau against my strong infection, no bitterness that I will bitter think, no double penance to correct correction. Pity me then, dear friend, and I assure ye, even natural pity is enough to cure me. Psalm 112. Your love and pity, that's the impression feel, which broke scandals that stamped upon my brow. For what care I who cause me well or ill? So you agree my bad, my good allow. You are my all the world, and I must strive to know my shames and praises from your tongue. None else to me, no I to another life, that my still stands or changes right or wrong. In so profound abysm, I throw or care of others' voices that my adsense, critic and flatterers but dark, mark out with my neglect I do dispense. You are so strongly in my purpose bred that all the world besides me thinks are dead. Psalm 113. Since I left you, my eye is in my mind, and that which governs me to go about does practice function, and is partly blind, seems but effectually is thought. For no form delivers to the heart, of bird or flower or shape which is that flesh. Of his big objects has the mind no part, nor his own vision whose what it does catch. For if it see the rudest or gentlest sight, the most seek favor of the foremost creature, the mountain or the sea, the day or night, the crow or dove, it sheds them to your feature. Incapable of more, replete with you my most true mind, lost with my eye untrue. Psalm 114. Aware that my mind, being crowned with you, drink up the monstrous plague this flattery. Or whether shall I say, my eyes is true, and let your love potted this alchemy, to make of monsters and things in digest, such cherubins as your sweet self resemble, creating every bad perfect best, as as objects to his beings resemble. Oh, 'tis the first, 'tis flattery in my sin, and my great mind most keenly dreams it up. My eye will knows what with his ghastly scream, and to his palate does prepare the cup. If it be poisoned, this will less seem that my eye loves it, and doth first begin. At 115, those lines that I before have writ to lie, even those that said I could not love you dearer. Yet then my judgment knew no reason why my most foul flame should afterwards burn clearer, but reckoning time whose million accidents, creeping twixt vows and change decrees of kings, and sacred beauty, bound to the sharpest intents, divert strong minds to the cost of altering things. Alas, while fearing of time's tyranny, my dauntless say, now I love you best. When I was certain or in certainty, crowned in the present, doubting of the rest, love is a babe, they might I not say so, to give for growth to that which still doth grow. Psalm 116. Let me not to the marriage of true might admit embodiments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, all bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth unknown, although his height be taken. Thus not times full the rosy lips and cheeks, within his bending sickles compass come, that alters not with his brave hours and wits, but bears it up even to the edge of doom, if this be error and upon me proved, and never reaped, nor no man ever loved. Psalm 117. Accuse me lost that I have skinned all, wherein I should your great deserts repay. Forgot upon your dearest love to call, whereto all bounds to tie me day by day. And I have frequently been with unknown minds, and given to time your own dear purchased right. And I have hoisted sail to all the winds, which should transport me farthest from your sight. Look both my willfulness and errors down, and unjust proofs surmise accumulate. Bring me within the level of your frown, but should not at me your vacant hate. Since my appeal says I did strive to prove the constancy and virtue of your love. Psalm 118 like us to make our appetites more keen with eager compounds we our palate urge. As to prevent our melodies unseen, we sicken to shun sickness when we purge. Even so, being full of your near-cloying sweetness, to bitter sauces did I frame my feeling and seek of welfare, found a kind of meekness. To be deceased ere that there was true needing, lost policy in love to anticipate. The ills that were not grew to force short, and brought to medicine a henceforth death. Which rank of goodness would by ill be cured, but length I learn and find the lesson true. Drugs poison him that so fell sick of you. Psalm 119 What potions have I drunk of staring tears, distilled from limbecks, foulest hell within, applying fears to hopes and hopes to fears. Still losing when I saw myself to win. What wretched errors hath my heart committed? What it has thought itself so blessed never? How have my eyes out of their spheres been faded in the distraction of this maddening fever? Oh, benefit film, now I find true that better is by evil still made better, and ruined love when it is built anew. Grows fairer than at first, more strong far greater. So I return rebuked my content, and gain by your thrice more than I have spent. Psalm 120 That Jew were once unkind befriends me now, and for that sorrow which I then did feel. Needs must I under my transgression bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammered steel. For if you were by my unkindness shaken, as I by yours, you passed the hell of time, and thine adherent have no leisure taken, to weigh how once I suffered in your crime, or led on night of war, but have remembered. By deepest sense, how heart's true sorrow hits, and soon to you as you to me then tended. A humble slave which wounded bosoms fits, but let your trespass not become a fee. My ransom's yours, and yours must ransom me. Psalm 121 It's better to be vile and vile esteemed, when not to be receives reproach of me, and the just pleasure, lust which is so dimmed, not by our feeling, but by others' sin. For why should others force adulterate eyes give salutation to my sportive blood, or wrong my frailties? Why are fearless spies, which in their wills come bad while I think good? No, I am that I am, and laid at label, at my abuses written up their wrong. I may be straight, though they themselves be level, by their rank thoughts, my deeds must not be shown, unless this general evil they maintain, or men are bad, and in their badness reign. Psalm 122 Thy gift, thy tables are within my brain, for character with lasting memory, which shall above that idle rank remain beyond all death, even to eternity, or at least so long as brain and heart have faculty by nature to subsist, till each to raise the oblivion yield his part. Of thee thy record never can be missed, that poor retention could not so much hold, nor need I tell this dear love to score. Therefore to give them from me was I bold, to trust those tables that receive thee more, to keep an adjunct to remember thee, were to import forgetfulness in me. And 123 No time thou shalt not boast glad to change, thy pyramids built up with new might, to me are nothing novel, nothing strange. They are but dressings for my sight, our days are brief, and therefore we admire. But love does not foist upon us that is old, and rather make them born to our desire, than think that we before have heard them told. Their resistance in thee at both divine, not wondering at the present nor the past. For thy records and what we see that lie, made more or less by thy continual haste. This I do vow, and this shall never be. I will be true, despite thy desires and leave. Psalm 124 My eye has played the panther, Psalm 124 in the old age black. Psalm 124 Psalm 124 If my dear love were but the child of state, it might for fortune's bastard be unguarded, a subject to time's love or to time's hate. Weeds among weeds, or flowers with flowers gathered. No, it was built far from accident, It serves not in smiling pomp nor force, under the blow of throatless discontent, where to the inviting time of fashion calls, it fears not policy that heretic, which works on lists of short-numbered hours, but all along stands hugely politic, that it nor grows with heat, nor drowns with showers. To this I witness call the foots of time, which die for goodness, who have lived for crime. Not 125 what ought to me at all the canopy with my externally outward honoring, or laid great bases for eternity, which prove more short than waste or reigning. Have I not seen dwellers unformed and favor lose all and more by paying too much rent? For compound, sweet foregoing, simple savor, pitfalls diverse in their gazing spent? Now let me be obsequious in thy heart, and declare my oblation, poor but free, which is not mixed with seconds, knows no art, but mutual render, only me for thee. Hence was born in former, a true soul, when most impeached, stands least in thy control. Chapter 126. Although my lovely boy, who in thy power dost hold time's fickle glass, his equal hour, who hast thy waning worn and layering showst, thy lovers withering as thy sweet self growest, if nature's suffering mistress of a rack, as thou goest downwards, still will pluckily back. She keeps thee to this purpose, let her skill, may time disgrace and wretched be skill. It fear her, O thou minion of her pleasure, she may detain, but not still keep her treasure. Her audit loaded and answered must be, and her pelters is to render thee. At 127, in the old age, black was not counted fair, or if it were, it borne the beauty's name, but now is black beauty's successive heir, and beauty is landed with vaster shame, for since each hand has put on nature's power, fair in the fowls, with art's force-bored face, still beauty hath no name, no holy bower, but is profaned, if not lives in disgrace. Therefore my mistress' brows are riven black, her eyes so suited and their more seem, as such who not born fair no beauty lack. Slandering creation with false esteem, yet sorely mourn, becoming of their woe, that every tongue says beauty should look so. And 128. How oft when thou my music placed upon thy blessed oud with motion sounds, with thy sweet fingers when thou gently swayest, the wiry concord that my ear confounds, do I envy those tracks that nimble lip, to kiss the tender inward of thy hand, whilst my poor lips which should the hover strip, at the old spotness by thee blushing stand, to be so tickled thy would change their state, and situation with those dancing chips, or whom thy fingers work with gentle gait, making the oud more blessed than living lips, since those eject so happy are this. Give them thy fingers me, thy lips to kiss. Not 129. The expense of spirit in the waste of shame is lost in action until action lost, is perjured murderous, bloody, full of blame. Savage extreme, rude cruel, not to trust, enjoyed no sooner, but despised straight. Past reason haunted and no sooner had, past reason hated as a swallowed bait. On purpose laid to make her take her mad, mad in pursuit and in possession sought. Having and in quest to have extreme, a blessing prove and prove the very woe. Before a joy proposed behind a dream, all this the world well knows, yet none knows well, to shun the heaven that leads man to his hell. Psalm 130. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun, coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, the white than her breasts are down, if hairs be wires, black wires squall on her head. I have seen roses damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in a breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, but well I know that music has a far more pleasing sound. I groan I never saw a goddess go, my mistress when she walks treads on the ground, and yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. Psalm 131. Thou art as tyrannous, so as thou art, as those whose beauty is partly make them cruel. For well thou knowest, my dear doting heart, thou art the fairest and most precious jewel. Yet in good faith some say that thee behold, thy face has not the power to make of grown. To say the earth I dare not be so bold, although I swear it to myself alone, and to be sure that is not false I swear, 1,000 groans but thinking on thy face. One on another snake to win the spare, the back is fairest in my judgment's place, nothing but low back, saving bad deeds, and lest this slander as I think proceeds. Chapter 132, thine eyes I love, and lay a spitting in me, knowing thy heart torments me with disdain. Have put on black, and loving more than speed, looking with pretty ruse upon my pen, and truly that the morning sun of heaven but becomes the great chicks of the east. No let full star that ushers in the even, that half the glory to a sober waist. As lost to morning eyes become thy face, or let it then as well be seen thy heart, to mourn for him did hush the night. 132, thine eyes I love, and lay a spitting in me, knowing thy heart torments me with disdain. Have put on back, and loving more than speed, looking with pretty ruse upon my pen, and truly not the morning sun of heaven, but becomes the great chicks of the east. No rightful star that ushers in the even, that half the glory to the sober west. As lost to morning eyes become thy face, or let it then as well be seen thy heart. Mourn for me this morning thusly graced, and suit thy pity lacking every part. Then well as well beauty herself is black, and all they found that thy complexion lack. Chapter 133, be sure that heart that makes my heart to groan, for that deep wounded gives my friend me. It's not enough to torture me alone, but slave to slavery my sweetest friend must be. Me for myself that cruel lie has taken, and my naked self the harder has engrossed. Of him myself I believe I am forsaken. A torment thrice threefold lost to be crossed. Prison my heart in a still bosom's world, but let my friend's heart let my poor heart feel. What keeps me and my heart be his God. Thou canst not lay use rigor in my jail, and yet thou wilt, for I depend in thee. For voice and lie, and all that is in me. At 134, so now I have confessed that he is lying, and I myself am mortgaged thy will. Myself I forfeit, so that art mine, thou wilt restore to be my comfort still. But thou wilt not, nor he will not be free, for thou art covetous, and he is kind. He learned but surely lacked to write for me, under that bond like him as fast as bind. The statute of liability thou wilt take, thou usurer, that puttest forth all to use. And so a friend can debtor for my sake, so him I lose through my unkind abuse. Him have I lost, thou hast both him and me. He pays the whole, and yet mine not free. And 135, whoever has a wish, thou hast thy will, and will to good, and will in overplus. More than enough, and mine that fix thee still, to thy sweet will, making addition lost. But thou, whose will is large and spacious, not once but safe to hide my will in line, shall will in others seem right gracious, and in my will no fairer substance shine. A sea or water yet receives rain still, and in abundance addeth to his store. So thou be rich in will, add to thy will, while will of mine to make thy large will more. Let no unkind nor fear beseeches kill, think all but one, and me in that one will. Chapter 136, if thou strictly that I come so near, swear to thy blind soul that I was thy will, and will thy soul knows is a minute layer. Thus far for love, my love still sweet fulfill. Will fulfill the treasure of thy love. I feel it full with wells, and my will one. In things of great received, with ease reproved, among a number one is reckoned none. Then in a number let me pass untold, though in a source account I one must be, for nothing hold me, so it please thee hold. But nothing me or something sweet to thee, make but my name thy love, and love that still. And then thou lovest me, for my name is will. At 137, thou blind fool love, what dost thou to my eyes, that they behold, and see not what they see? They know what beauty is, see where it lies, yet what the best is take the worst to be. If eyes corrupt by over partial looks, be anchored in a bay, where all may right, why of thy falsehood hast thou forged looks? Where true the judgment of my heart is tied, why should my heart think like a silver pot, which my heart knows the white words commonplace? All my eyes in this say this is not, to put fair truth upon so foul a face. In things right true my heart and eyes have erred, and to this false plague are they now transferred. At 138, when my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies. That she might think me some untreated youth, unlearned in words for subtleties, thus vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows my days are past the best. Simply accredited simply accredit her false-speaking tongue. On both sides losses, simple truth suppressed. But willful says she is unjust, and willful say that I am mold. All love's best habit is in seeming trust, and aging love loves not to have ears told. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our faults by lies we flattered be. Not 139, or call not me to justify the wrong that thy unkindness lays upon my heart. Wound me not with thy eye, but with thy tongue, with power, and slay me not by art. Tell me thou lovest elsewhere, but in my sight, dear heart, forbear to glance thine eye aside. What needest thou, wound with cunning when thy mind is more than my all-pressed defense can bind. Let me excuse thee, my love well knows. Her pretty looks have been mine enemies, and therefore for my face she turns my foes that lay elsewhere my start their injuries. Yet do not so, but since I am near slain, kill me outright with looks and with my pen. Not 140, be wise as thou art cruel, do not praise my tongue-tied patience with too much disdain. Lest sorrow lead me words, and words express the manner of my pitying wanting pen. If I am at teachly wit, better read word, though not to love, yet love to tell me so. A testy sick man, when their death be near, no news but health from their physicians know. For if I should despair, I should grow mad, and in my madness might speak ill-lovely. Now this ill-resting word is grown so bad, my slanders that mad ears believed be. That I may not be so, the Lord be light, bear thine eyes straight, though thy proud heart go wide. 141. In faith, I do not love thee with my eyes, for they in thee 1,000 there is not. But 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who in despite of you is pleased to doubt. Nor round my ears with thy tongue's true delighted, no tender feeling to best touch is prompt. No taste, no smile, desire to be invited to any sensual feast with thee alone. But my 5 wits, nor my 5 senses can dissuade one flesh heart from serving thee. What if some sweat likeness of a man, that proud heart slave and vessel wretch to be? Only my plague, thus far I count my gain, that she that makes me sin awards me pain. 142. Love is my sin, and thy dear virtue hate of my sin, grounded on sinful loving. Oh, but with my compare thou thine own state, and thou shalt make it merits not reproving. Or if do, not from those lips of lime that have perfect their scarlet ornaments, and sealed forth bonds of love, as oft as mine, from goddess beds revenues of their rents. Be it lawful, I love thee as thou lovest laws, my eyes who as mine impetuous thee. With pity in thy heart, that when it grows, thy pity may deserve to pitied be. If thou dost seek to have what thou dost hide, by self-example mayst thou be denied. At 143, lo, as a careful housewife runs to catch one of her favorite creatures walk away, sits down her bed, and makes all swift dispatch. In pursuit of the thing she would have stared, whilst the neglected child holds her in chase, pressed to catch whole species care spent, to follow that which flies before her face, not prizing her poor infant's discontent, so run aslow after that which flies from thee. Whilst I thy babe chastely afar behind, but if thou catch thy hope, turn back to me, and play the modest part, kiss me, be kind, so well I pray that thou mayst have thy will. If thou turn back, and my loud crying still. 144. To loves that have of comfort and despair, which like two spirits to suggest me still. The better angel is a man right fair, the worse spirit a woman colour. To win me soon to hell, my female evil tempts my better angel from my side, and would corrupt my sense to be a devil, wooing his purity with her foul pride, and whether let my angel be turned fiend. Expect I may, but not the roughly tell, but being both from me, both to each friend, I guess why angel in another's hell. Yet this shall I ne'er know, but live in doubt, till my bad angel fire my good not. 145. Those lips that love's own hand did make, breathed forth the sound that said I hate. To me that languaged for her sake, but when she saw my woeful fate, straight in her heart did mercy come, treading the tongue that ever sweet, was used in giving gentle boon, and taught it thus anew to greet. I hate she ordered with an end, that followed it as gentle day, thus for a net who like a fiend from heaven to hell is blown away. I hate from headway she threw, and left my life, saying not you. Psalm 146. Poor soul, the center of my sinful earth, the sinful earth is rebel pulse array. Why dost thou pine within its upper earth? Painting that outward was so costly gay, why so large cost, having so short a days? Dost thou upon thy fading mansion spend, shall worms, inheritors of this sense, eat up thy charge, is this thy body's end? Then so live long upon thy servant's loss, and let pine to aggravate thy store by terms divine, in selling hours of dross. Within be fat, without be rich no more, so shalt thou feed on death that feeds on men, and death once dead, there is no more dying then. Psalm 147. My love is as a fever, longing still for that which longer nurses the disease, feeding on that which doth preserve the ill, the uncertain sickly appetite to please. My reason of accession to my love, angry that his prescriptions are not kept, has left me and died, desperate now approve. Desire is death, which physic did expect. Past cure I am, no reason is past care, and frantic mad with evermore unrest. My thoughts and my discourse at amendment are at random from the truth vainly expressed. For I have sworn the poets of thy deep kindness, out of thy perhaps only fair and totally bright, or art as black as hell, as dark as night. Psalm 148. O me, what else has love put in my head, which has no correspondence with true sight? Or if they have, where is my judgment fade, like censor falsely what they see aright? If that be fair, whereon my false sense thought, what means the word to say it is not so? If it be not, then love doth well the note. Love's side is not so true as all men know. How can it, or how can love's side be true? I is so vexed with watching and with tears, no marvel then, though I mistake my view. The sun itself is not still having tears, or cunning love with tears thou keepst me blind. And eyes will sing thy foul fault should find. At 149, canst thou, O cruel, say I love thee not, when I against myself with thee partake? Do I not think on thee when I forgot, and move myself out errant for thy sake? Who hatest thee that I do call my friend, on whom frownest thou that I do fawn upon? Nay, if thou lourest on me, do I not spend revenge upon myself with present moan? What merit do I in myself respect, that is so proud thy service despise, when all my best doth worship thy defect, commanded by the motion of thine eyes, but love head on, for now I know thy mind, those that can see thou lovest, and I am blind. Psalm 150. Oh, from what power hast thou this powerful might, with insufficiency in my heart to sway? Make me give the light to my true sight, and swear that brightness does not grace the day. Whence hast thou this becoming of things ill, that in the very refuse of thy deeds there is such strength and warrant as of skill, that in my mind thy worst all best exceeds. Who totally how to make me lovely more, the more I hear and see just the cause of hate. Although I love what others do abhor, with others thou shouldst, and poor my state. If thy unworthiness rest loving me, more worthy I to be, beloved of thee. Psalm 151. Love is too young to know what conscience is, yet who knows that conscience is born of love? Then gentle tutor, urged by a miss, less guilty of my faults, thy sweet self prove. For thou betray me, and do betray my nobler part, my gross body's treason. My soul doth kill my body, that he may triumph in love, which he stays no farther reason. But rising at thy name doth point at thee, as his triumphant prize, proud of his pride. He is contented that poor judge to be, to stand in thy affairs fall by thy side. For want of conscience hold it by thy call, but love for whose dear love I rise and fall. Psalm 152. In loving thee thou knowest that I am forsworn, but thou art twice forsworn to me love swearing. In neck thy bade vow broke, and new faith torn, involving new head after new love bearing. But by oath to oaths breached do I accuse thee, when I break thee I am purged most. For all my vows are oaths, but to misuse thee, and all my honest faith in thee is lost. For I have sworn the oaths of thy deep kindness, oaths of thy love, thy truth, thy constancy, and to enlighten thee give eyes to blackness, or make them swear against the thing they see. For I have sworn thee fair, more perjured I am to swear against the truth of all the light.
Psalm 153. Cupid laid by his friend and fell asleep. A maid of diamonds his advantage found, and his love-kindling fire did quickly steep in the cold valley fountain of that ground, which borrowed from this holy fire of love a deathless lively heat still to endure, and grew a sealing bath which yet may prove against strange maladies a sovereign cure. But that my mistress I, love's brand new fire, a boy for charm needs will touch my breast. I seek with all the help of baths desired, and thither had a sad distempered guest, but found no cure. The best for my help lies where Cupid got new fire, my mistress's eyes. Psalm 154. The little love god lying once asleep, laid by his side his heart in flaming brand, was many nymphs that vowed chaste life to keep, in tripping by but in her maiden hand. The fairest watery to couplet fire, which many legions of true hearts had warmed, and so the general of hot desire was sleeping by virgin hand disarmed. His breath she quenched in a cool whereby, which from love's fire took heat perpetual, growing a bath and healthful remedy for man deceased. But I my mistress' store can therefore cure, and this by that I prove. Love's fire is water, water cools not love.